Hello, I'm Jonas Weber. I'm the game designer of Expeditions Conquistador. A couple of weeks ago we released 3 videos that demonstrated how the battles work in our game, and since then a lot of you have quite reasonably been asking us to show the rest of the game. We've been a little loath to do so because we have a lot of plans for changing and improving this part of the game, but obviously you guys want to know how the game plays before you pledge, so we're gonna go ahead and show you how it works now, and I'll try to make it clear which parts are going to change and which parts are probably going to stay the same. The first thing you do is you create your character. You can either be a male or female. I'm gonna be a female just to make fun of the people who have complained that we have females. These skills are not used in battle. They're used during events and dialogue, and they're used for resource management and that sort of stuff. Since I want to skip battle and be pretty peaceful in this playthrough, I'm gonna go ahead and remove some points from tactics and max out diplomacy, increase healing, and just split the last points between leadership and hunting. I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can make it generate a name that I like more. That's alright. Yeah, Michaela Avalan, that sounds good to me. On the next screen you select the people that you want to follow you on your expedition. You can either press auto hire, in which case it puts together a party that's reasonably balanced in terms of their classes, but it doesn't really account for what sort of personality traits or anything like that. So you can also click on each of your portraits here and see what are they called. These are their stats. They are all the same for every type. Doctors, for example, all have the same stats. You can read their background story, and you can check out their traits here and see if they match your playstyle. I'm gonna go ahead and just select some people here that have portraits, because as you can see we're still waiting on about half of the portraits from our illustrator, so a lot of these still have placeholder portraits. Yep. And we'll go with Valiente. It's good to have one scholar. Actually, since I'm being peaceful, I should probably bring 2. Yep. I'll bring a couple of scouts. Even though scouts aren't really implemented in combat yet. And some soldiers. Alright. So here's the summary of my character. My portrait, my name, the amount of people. I have just chosen 2 people from each type. We've got my own skills over here, which I use to unlock new dialogue options, and we've got the totals over here, which influence the resource management part of the game, and which also give me better probabilities of succeeding in certain dialogue checks and stuff like that. I'll show you in a bit. Let's begin the game. So we start off in the Spanish settlement at Hispaniola called Santo Domingo, currently the capital of the Dominican Republic. We came in the ship, and as you can see we've recreated some of the historical landmarks of Santo Domingo. We've got the Catedral Santa Maria over here, Fortaleza Utzama here, and Alcázar de Colón, the Columbus Palace here. Other than that, the layout of the city isn't really historically accurate. That's it's more of an iconic representation of the settlement. Before I can do anything, as you can see, I'm not allowed to move into any of these spaces. I have to go here because this event is blocking my way. That's the guard captain who has been ordered by the governor to confiscate my vessel and all her crew and cargo. I'm just gonna ask, with what justification, if you please? Well, no justification, just because. Alright, I'm gonna station one of my people here to make sure nothing disappears. And I'm gonna put one of my scouts here. That seems like a good decision. He wants to know my name. I'm happy to give it to him, and I'm off. So now I can check my goals down here. As you can see, it's flashing to call my attention to a new goal. Go to the palace at the north end of Santo Domingo and speak to the governor. Very well. I can also see my stats over here in case I forgot. I have some experience, a certain amount of days have passed, and it keeps track of how many discoveries we've made. I'll start by obeying the goal log. Here we've got the governor. Well, gonna correct him, that's Capitan Avalan Governor. Those are my people, they serve me. Well, he wants me to go to the quartermaster at the fortress. He'll probably want to test my combat skills before he lets me regain control of my troops. Since this is the intro, it's a bit linear, but it opens up in just a moment. So I'm gonna follow my quest log again, go to the fortress. Here's the quartermaster. Just gonna skip the pleasantries. He wants to test me very well. If it can be no other way, I suppose I can use the practice. He splits my people into two groups. He'll lead one and I lead the other. Okay, so I'll just select one of each type of follower here. So bring to battle one doctor, one hunter, and one soldier. Like I mentioned, scholars and scouts are not yet implemented, but they will be very soon. So here's the first fight, just a training fight, but you've already seen how battles work, so I'm gonna go ahead and press this cheat button, and the game will assume that I won. There we go. He congratulates me on a battle well fought. Let's not tell him I cheated. And then I must return to the governor of the palace. Very well. Okay. I did not cross the Atlantic Ocean to play fetch for you. Once I've stocked up on supplies, I'm leaving to explore the mainland. I think not. This is an outrage. Okay. The governor insists that I work for him because Santo Domingo is under a lot of threat right now from rebels and dangerous cults and so on. So the first thing he wants me to do is seek out the ruins in the center of the island, which is currently being used by some sort of pagan cult, and then deal with them. I'm going to go ahead and do that. We'll see what the situation looks when we get there. And as I leave, I'm stopped by this young woman who offers to take me to my cargo so that I can reclaim that. Very well. So that's down here. And if it isn't the quartermaster again I'll skip the formalities. He lists the stuff that I have. Very well. Is it all here? Hernandez? And the scout that I stationed here confirms that she's been keeping an eye on things. Good. I'm going to need servants. And now I can choose whether I want to only hire servants, only use paid servants, or if I'm okay with using slaves. I'm fine with using slaves. Which might of course come back to kick me in the ass later, but I won't spoil that. Alright, and the quartermaster leaves and Isabella wants to talk to me. She wants to join me. Do you have any experience in battle? Not really. What are your skills? She'll give it a best shot. Okay, go sign up with a bet. So now let's see how my party have changed. You can see that Hernandez is back, and Isabella has now joined up. She's a soldier, apparently. And I noticed that I have enough experience now to promote someone. You can see I have 100 experience that is unspent. So I shall go ahead and I think I'll upgrade a doctor because they will get revive, which is a very useful ability. And I noticed that Antonio is narcissistic, so it'd be a good idea to level him up first, because every time you level somebody up above the level of somebody else who's narcissistic, that person loses morale out of jealousy. On the other hand, if I level up somebody who's narcissistic, he gains twice as much morale as people normally get for being promoted. So I'm gonna promote Velasquez to a man-at-arms. Let the boy play. Right. I also have 20 unassigned equipment, and I think that I will choose, though I'm not really sure it's the best way to do it, but it's how I tend to do it. I'm going to put all of my equipment into one character and just use that character as a tank. Maybe not all of it, but first I'll start by putting Miguel Reese's armor here at 10 and his melee weapon up to 5. And then I have 5 equipment points left. I'm gonna put them into armor for Antonio. Doctors can't have more than 5 armor. Soldiers can go all the way up to 20, and the character models change on certain tiers. So if you put more than 10 points into a soldier's armor, then you'll notice that he wears full plate in the next battle. Which of course they all do right now, but that's a temporary solution. Alright. There's a bunch of new events here. I can go to the market now, because we are finished with the intro, so the whole thing kind of opens up. And I'll show you the trading system. Here are the resources that you can purchase, and here are the resources that you have with you. You can see I have 0 equipment, because I can only sell the equipment that I haven't currently assigned to someone. So if I select that I want to buy 20 rations, it's going to cost me 398 valuables. If I want to sell medicine instead, it's going to cost me 20 medicine for 20 rations. And it would have cost me 4 equipment to get 20 rations. Well, valuables seems best to me, so I'm going to go ahead and buy for almost 400 valuables 20 rations. Now you'll see that the numbers are updated, and if I want to buy another 20 rations, the price is increased, because now he has more valuables and he has less rations, and I'm trying to sell him valuables and buy his rations, so of course the price has gone up a bit. But I'm fine with 90 rations, that must be enough. Okay, so there's no map currently implemented. We're working on it, but fortunately I know that the ruins are over here. So it's really just a question of going in that vague direction. I can press up here if I want to recenter the camera on my character. And also if I move now, it stays locked onto the character until I move it away again. Now it's free. One of the things we're going to change is we're going to remove the hexes. There's various reasons for it, aesthetic, technical, and mostly because we don't really feel like they're improving the game being here. It would be best to just use pathfinding, so you click somewhere, it draws up a path for you, shows you how long it'll take you to get there, how many days, and you click it and you go there. We also want to change the way we use events. You can see that every event now, everything you can interact with here, is this icon. It's kind of just spinning in the air. It's a bit too abstract for our tastes. We'd like to replace this with objects that are highlighted when you hover over them, and then the icon here will just take the place of the yellow exclamation mark that you're used to from RPGs, hovering over whatever building or person that you need to interact with. So for example, if I want to go to the church here to talk to the bishop, then instead of clicking in front of the church, I would click on the church, and then my character would go there and talk to the bishop. This is fairly standard stuff, but just so you know that this hex grid is not going to be here in the final version. For now, I'm just gonna go ahead and leave the city, since I can do that now. Oh, I'm stopped on my way out. Somebody wants me to wait for Noriega to come and talk to me. The guard captain. Alright. Any advice you have, I'll consider. Tells me to be mindful of my food reserves, because I'll starve if I don't bring enough rations, and my people will be very displeased if they have to starve. I'll be careful. Is there anything else? Yes, you can buy rations from the native villages and from the Spanish town of Santiago de los Caballeros, as well as of course from Santo Domingo. Thank you, Captain. Alright, go with God. Very well. And now I can leave the town. So here we have a pig. I'm gonna go ahead and hunt that. That gave me some rations. I now have 111 rations, which means I gained 21 rations. You can see this is my inventory. I have my resources here, and then I have my items here. I don't currently have any items. This is where items that I purchase or acquire, they go, and then I can move them up here to my equip slots, which I have 3 of, and these are the items that are brought with me into a fight. I'm gonna spend the rest of my moves and then make camp. As you can see, camping is a pretty trivial affair right now. We want to add a camping management system, so you can set up who should have each job when you camp. You'll be able to assign who should be on guard duty, who should be cleaning the toilets if you have somebody that you want to punish, who should be scouting out the area, who should go hunting and foraging, etc. And there'll be sort of context-sensitive events depending on where you are, so you can go exploring nearby caves, or you can go fishing or scavenging for flotsam or stuff like that. And we'll make it so that it remembers your choices between each time you camp. As you can see, there's quite a lot of medicine here. It's because medicine only really appears in the jungle. You won't get medicine appearing on the beaches or in the mountains, at least very rarely. There's a higher chance as well that food will appear in the jungles, though it will also appear near the coast and in the mountains and such. Since we're in the deepest part of the jungle right now, there's a lot of medicine here. So this is the cult that I was asked to deal with. I want to handle this in a peaceful way. First, I assess the threat. They seem to be... They're well armed, alright? So now I have three options. I can signal for my troops to attack right now, or I can withdraw and then come back at night. There are advantages and disadvantages to fighting at night, the main thing being everybody who's ranged suffer a significant penalty to their attack chance. And of course, if you have a lot of cool ranged people, then that's not something you don't want. But if you mainly have soldiers and close combat people, then that would be a significant advantage for you. I'm gonna pick the third option. I'm going to approach with my weapon sheathed. Alright, they don't really fancy me. They kind of worry as they spot me. Just form a circle around me. Alright. I can now tell my troops to come out of hiding and menace them a bit, or I can try to talk to them and assure them that my intentions are peaceful. Which makes their chieftain step forward, because it turns out they're a tribe and not a cult. Isabella is currently translating this. If I did not have Isabella with me, then I would not have been able to do this, because I wouldn't understand what anybody would be saying. She serves as my translator. She is half native and half Spanish. Alright. They are doing some sort of ritual that I've interrupted. I can now order them to stop, which my Pious followers would really appreciate. Probably my racist followers would be happy with it too. But I'm just gonna go ahead and ask them what the ritual is first. Alright, it's some sort of ritual of cleansing. Now I can either take my chance with this. This is the diplomacy option. This one has a 95% chance of success, meaning there's a certain difficulty to it, and because I have 10 in diplomacy and I have 2 scholars with me, it's fairly easy for me to convince them to leave after they finish their rituals. I can also tell them, what a ridiculous ritual. There's only one God. Isn't it time for you to abandon your false beliefs and turn to him? Again, my Pious and racist followers would probably really like that. My open-minded and peaceful followers, not so much. I can also simply just order my people to attack them and kill them all. I'm gonna go with the diplomatic option. And now my... who was Mercedes Alvaliante? That would be my soldier, one of my soldiers. See, she doesn't have a portrait yet, so it doesn't appear over here, but normally her portrait would come up here, and once we get the portrait from our illustrator, then it would appear here. Well, she's indignated though. Surely you do not mean to allow the heathens to go through the ungodly ritual, but yes, in fact I do. Alright, and since the diplomatic sort of negotiation here was a success, she accepts, says we thank you for respecting our traditions in allowing them to finish their ritual, and in return we will vacate this site tonight as soon as the ritual is complete. Right. So that was that, and if I check my goals now, it tells me to go back to the governor and let him know the cult won't trouble him any longer. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Might have picked up some medicine first, but I'm gonna be ending the demo as soon as I return to Santo Domingo, so I don't want to waste anyone's time. We exactly don't have enough moves to make it back to the town, but we can make it most of the way there. Another thing we want to implement is terrain modifiers to movement, so that when you're moving on roads and beaches, you have more move than if you're moving in the dense jungles or in the mountains. Alright, now I can get back into the town and return to the governor. I'm telling him the pagans have vacated the ruins. They won't be using it any longer. Right, he's not really happy. He was hoping for a more permanent solution, but he offers me 1,000 valuables for my services. Well, that's generous of you, Governor, but I want more money, basically. And you can see here, this is also a diplomacy option, but it doesn't have a probability, and that's because I've unlocked it with my personal skills. So I'll know that there's no chance of failing this. If I select it, it will always succeed. But of course, my greedy followers will really like this, but my altruistic followers might not really like me extorting more money out of the governor. Right. But he thinks, you make your point with eloquence and grace, Capitan Everland. Very well. I shall raise the sum to 1,500 valuables. Hopefully that will make the difference in your next engagement. Now, let's talk about the rebels. Who leads them? There's two groups. One is led by Esteban Gallego, and the other one we don't know, because they've mostly been a problem up north, near Santiago de los Caballeros, right? Why did they turn against the crown? Idealism, greed, madness, take your pick, I couldn't say. What shall we do about it? They must be defeated at all cost, but we have to find them first, right? Go to the mines and speak to our troops there so you can track down Gallego, and go to Santiago and talk to our guard captain Leandro Vizcaino in order to learn more about the northern group of rebels, right? I'll hear what she has to say. He wished me good luck. Okay, so I think I'll just end the demo here. It's already carried on for quite a bit longer than I intended. I want to give you an impression of how big this map is. Pardon the choppiness of the camera in the mountains, we're working on that. You'll see there's a bit of valuables here that you can pick up. Some medicine. The map covers what is now the Dominican Republic, and currently it's a bit empty. Like I said, we want to add more stuff to it. We want to add more things that you can pick up, areas that you can find. We have a few events that are just kind of sitting around waiting for you to discover them, but we want more of those, essentially. Still, it's a pretty big map. It takes about 10 days in game to cross it. And it has several points of interest already. Things for you to find. Here's a native village that you can interact with. They have some side quests, and there's trading. You can buy a certain type of traps from them and stuff like that. We have the Samana Peninsula. There's some events sitting around there waiting for you to discover them. We'll have Fog of War, but it's not in this demo, obviously, for demo purposes. Here we have the Santiago de los Caballeros, the other Spanish settlement, which has, this is where we want to go to find Leandro Vizcaino. There's a market, there's a side quest up here. Yeah, I think that's about it. I hope you like what you saw, and either way, it would be great if you would give us your comments in the update section of our Kickstarter, or you can email us at info@logicartists.com. And I'd like to thank you for watching, and please keep supporting the project and giving us your feedback and spreading the word. Thank you very much.